Last week we talked about scheduling, time management. The week before we talked about philosophy and your foundation. And today we're going to go into how does time management play a role in the dental office? How does scheduling, how does organizing your schedule work or not work? And is that part of the problem? And then what can we do to change that and to drive a different outcome? But first we want to start with how many of us tend to be at work, how we get so consumed and so busy and so distracted that sometimes we
get caught up in saying we're busy.
It's amazing how often, especially when we start with a new office, they're like, oh, there's no way we could do this. It's just overwhelming. There's too much, you know? And one of the challenges I found is I'll ask people to design up their perfect day. Tell me what your perfect day in the dental office looks like. And they design it, they give it to me, and I say, okay, great. Now let's add up what all of this productivity adds up to. And maybe it's a $2,000 or $3,000 day or whatever the number is. Then, of course, the million-dollar question is if you have a day like that every single day, will it meet your financial goals and objectives? And it's amazing how often there's a discrepancy there. So the challenge is subconsciously I'm working towards this particular day that's just like this, and I've not thought through the reality that doesn't support the goals and objectives that I've got in place. It doesn't maybe even support my overhead. And I think that's where a lot of offices struggle to get by. It's amazing how many offices we run into and they're like paycheck to paycheck, the doctor's paycheck to paycheck. And what's interesting is when we look backwards, this is often the reason why. So first and foremost, begin with the end in mind. Tell me what your financial objective is for the day. How much do you need to make a day, a week, a month in terms of productivity collections to support your financial goals? And so really put a lot of thought into what's your ideal day look like in terms of number of patients, number of hygiene checks, how many patients, profitability, all of those sorts of topics.
Absolutely, and then also taking a look at what are you building around high productivity time frames within the day. Do you have like little small checks during the day? What do you want at the end of the day? How do you want to start the morning as well? I think a lot of people get caught up with, I want my schedule to be full, but filled with what? Filled with what type of dental procedures that it is that you're wanting to do. So it's great to have the mindset of, I just want to have a full schedule. And I do hear that. I have heard that several times of, I just want a full schedule. Well, what does that look like to you? And usually the response that I get is, I don't care, just keep me busy. However, whenever you're staying busy, that's not the right answer to having effective production taking place in the office.
So the same is true of the dental office. So this is your implant, this is your crown, there's an end-on crown, this is another crown, this is maybe some fillings, and these are little emergency patients, this is a new patient, whatever these things are, it's amazing how they add up. And now all of a sudden it's amazing how much more time you find in the day. And so what we want to do is figure out what works well for you. So in my case, let's say I really like to do my big productivity things in the morning. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule about an hour and a half crown right here. So we'll overlap this thing right here with our big implant case. And the reason why we overlap it is because I know that I need anesthesia. Right? I need 10 minutes of anesthetic to set in, maybe give them some nitrous, whatever the case is, some sedation of some sort, but there's a little bit of overlap time here. And somewhere in the end here, there's some polishing and finishing going on with the crown that maybe my assistant can do. So while she's doing that, I can be in the next operatory starting, giving the anesthetic, getting the sedation going, whatever the case is. And of course, somewhere right in here, maybe during this crown prep, that's called, we're taking an impression if you don't have CAD/CAM, or temporization, and your assistant again can be doing that. So right over here, I can be over here doing my hygiene check. What happens is in the half day or the one day, now all of a sudden at the end of the day, we're like, holy catfish, that was like really productive. It was an $8,000 day or something insane. So it met our financial objectives. I have a ton of energy because I pre-planned this, so I'm not just beat down doing 15 different patients of fillings that are challenging fillings. But it's set up to where I walk away with great energy, I walk away with great profitability, the team enjoys the flow, everybody's happy.
And if you're thinking in your mind that there's no way this is possible or that it's impossible to have a slower day with higher production and actually hit your goals or actually go above your goals. If you don't think that's possible, it's very possible. It's just strategically planning out your calendar and planning out that time management piece. And then the other piece that I'm going to steal from your notes here is making sure that you're planning out time to develop your team. How do you put that on the schedule as well? Is that once a week? Is that twice a month? What does that look like for you guys? But it's your mind, right? Staying sharp with that. And it's so easy to get sedentary with a current schedule, with business as usual. But if you're in that spot and you're uneasy about shaking things up because you don't think anything else is going to be effective any other way, perfect timing to sit down with your coach and talk to your coach about this. This is why we're here. This is why we're in your office, is to help you guys get to a new success level, a new platform, a new standard of how you practice dentistry within your office.
So don't expect immediate results. What you have to do is very consistently do these things. And if you very consistently do them, what will happen is it will build to consistent results as
Correct.
Opposed to sporadic in the roller coaster of life. So any concluding thoughts?
I think we're good.
Awesome. Love it. So glad you could join us here today. If there's other topics you want to hear from us, get them over to us. We'll get them prepped. We'll do them for you. Otherwise, we'll see you next week, 8 a.m. Mountain, if you watch the live show, 10 a.m. on the East Coast, or whenever you watch it in the archives. Have a wonderful day.
Have a good week.
What if you could have the practice of your dreams? What's holding you back? Imagine a life where you have everything you ever wanted.